There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the invisible hand of the divine begins to move in silence. You may not see it yet, but something is shifting in the unseen. The current of life is turning in your favor. Everything is about to change, not by chance, not by luck, but because your inner world has reached a point of readiness. The world outside of you is a mirror, reflecting the story you hold within. The moment your inner story changes, the moment you dare to believe that you are already blessed, already abundant, already chosen, reality begins to bend around that new conviction. Conviction. You see, change never starts out there. It begins in the quiet sanctuary of your imagination. Every desire you hold is already finished in the unseen. It's not being created, it is created, waiting for you to assume it, to feel it, to claim it as yours. So when I say everything is about to change, I mean that the unseen is pressing to be seen. The invisible is about to take form. The things you've prayed for are standing at the door, asking only one thing. Are you ready to receive? Readiness is not about effort. It's about alignment. It's about walking as if it's already done, thinking from the fulfillment, not toward it. Speak from the end, feel from the end, live from the end, and the end will appear. There is a divine law that governs all creation. What you assume to be true becomes your world. So assume the best. Assume that every obstacle was only preparation. Assume that everything that left was clearing space for what's coming. Assume that life is not against you, but working for you. You've been asking. You've been waiting. Now it's time to receive. The universe has already said yes. It's your turn to agree. Let this be the moment where faith replaces fear, where expectancy replaces doubt, where gratitude replaces longing. Everything is aligning. The people, the opportunities, the timing. What was once delayed is now divinely arranged. What seemed impossible is about to unfold effortlessly. Everything is. So lift your head. Speak the words of power. Feel the joy before the evidence. Because everything, yes, everything is about to change. And when it does, you realize it was never the world that shifted. It was you. Change does not begin with action. It begins in consciousness. Before a single thing moves in your outer world, a quiet revolution takes place within. Every event, every opportunity, every breakthrough that will one day appear in your life has its origin in the unseen realm of thought, feeling, and imagination. What we call reality is only the echo of our inner state. When you understand this, you realize that the true work of transformation is not done with your hands, but with your mind. Everything you desire is already shifting in the unseen realm. The moment you imagine it, the moment you feel it as real, a seed is planted in the invisible field of creation. It begins to grow, not where you can see it, but where you can sense it. In that inner atmosphere of belief, your emotions water that seed, your assumptions give it life, and your faith keeps it alive, even when the outer world has yet to show any sign of change. There is a divine law that governs all manifestation. The inner world precedes the outer. Whatever you hold in sustained consciousness, whether love or fear, abundance or lack, must eventually find expression in your lived experience. This is not superstition or wishful thinking. It is spiritual, cause and effect. The invisible always moves before the visible. The root always forms before the fruit. Most people look to the external for evidence of change. They say, I'll believe it when I see it. But that very belief holds them prisoner to the old state. True transformation requires the opposite approach. I'll see it when I believe it. When you shift your consciousness, you shift your world. The change may not come instantly, but it comes inevitably. The outer must conform to the inner, because the inner is the source. Imagine then that every thought you entertain, every feeling you dwell upon, is shaping a version of your reality that is waiting to unfold. You are never waiting for change to happen. You are allowing change to become visible. In the unseen, everything is already rearranging itself on your behalf. Doors are being prepared to open, people are being positioned, circumstances are being woven together in perfect alignment with the vibration you are holding right now. So if you want something to change, begin within. Change the way you see yourself. Change the assumptions you carry about life. Replace worry with faith, doubt with certainty, fear with love. When your inner atmosphere rises, the outer world cannot help but follow. This is the mystery of creation, that unseen thoughts become tangible things, that invisible emotions become visible events. You are not powerless in this process, you are the cause of it. Every shift in consciousness sets off a chain of divine movements in your favor. The unseen realm responds instantly, even if the evidence takes time to appear. So trust what you cannot yet see. Feel the reality of your desire as if it already exists, because in truth it does. The unseen is alive, moving, reshaping itself according to your inner state. Change begins in consciousness, and the moment you change within, everything you desire begins its journey toward you. The outer world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting your inner assumptions. Every circumstance, every person, every event that shows up in your life is a projection of the state of consciousness you consistently occupy. Life does not happen to you, it happens through you. The thoughts you think, the emotions you nurture, the beliefs you hold as true, these form the lens through which you perceive reality, and that perception becomes the very experience you live. You are not meeting the world as it is, you are meeting the world as you are. Your inner state determines what you attract, how you interpret situations, and what outcomes manifest. If you live from fear, you will see reasons to be afraid. If you live from love, you will witness kindness and opportunity everywhere. The mirror never lies, it only reflects. When you understand this, you stop blaming circumstances and start transforming consciousness. Everything. Your assumption is your creative power. To assume means to take something as true, even before there is visible evidence of it. When you assume success, even while facing setbacks, your mind begins to generate ideas, confidence, and energy that align with success. When you assume you are loved and chosen, you unconsciously act from that state. You radiate worthiness, and life mirrors that back through people and experiences that confirm it. The world is an obedient servant of your dominant state. Everything you encounter is a reflection of your current vibration, not your wishes or words alone. You cannot fake your inner state. Life responds to the vibration behind your words, not the words themselves. You may say you want abundance, But if you carry an inner assumption of lack, your experiences will mirror scarcity. Conversely, if you assume abundance, even in the midst of temporary limitation, often in ways you could never have logically planned. When you change your state of being, life rearranges itself to match it. This is not magic, it is law. The moment you shift your inner feeling from despair to expectancy, from doubt to certainty, from fear to trust, the frequency of your consciousness changes. That new vibration sends out a signal to the universe, and everything begins to reorganize to reflect your new state. People who once ignored you start to notice you. Situations that seemed closed suddenly open. The same world that once seemed hostile now becomes harmonious. The transformation is never in the external, it is always internal first. When you try to change outer conditions without addressing your inner assumptions, the results are temporary. But when you shift your inner being, everything outside must follow. The mirror cannot help but reflect what stands before it. So ask yourself not why is life like this, but what am I assuming to be true right now? Because the assumption you hold about yourself, about others, about the world is painting the scene of your life. Change the assumption and the reflection changes with it. Enter a state of gratitude and more will come to be grateful for. Enter a state of love and life will surround you with beauty. The outer world cannot resist your inner conviction. It must obey it. And when you learn to live consciously from a higher state, you will discover that reality itself is pliable, waiting patiently to reflect the truth you choose to believe. You are not waiting for blessings. Blessings are waiting for your readiness. Every good thing you have ever desired already exists in potential form, vibrating in the unseen, waiting for your consciousness to rise to meet it. Life is not withholding anything from you. It is always responding to you. The delay you perceive is never in the giving, but in the receiving. The universe does not need time to create what you desire. It only waits for you to align with the belief that it is already yours. Readiness is not about effort or struggle. It is about alignment. It is a state of being where your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs harmonize with what you wish to experience. When you are ready within, the outer world begins to shift automatically. Doors open, opportunities appear, people arrive at the right moment. What once seemed far away begins to approach with ease. It's not coincidence, it's correspondence. Blessings cannot enter a heart filled with fear, doubt, or unworthiness. They are not withheld as punishment, but because your inner state cannot yet hold them. You cannot receive what you do not believe belongs to you. Readiness is the silent acceptance that says, I am worthy, I am chosen, I am capable of having this. The moment that truth becomes natural to you, the blessing that has been circling your life finally finds a place to land. So many people are waiting for a sign, for a miracle, for evidence that their desire is coming. But signs do not precede faith. Faith precedes signs. The universe mirrors your conviction, not your wish. The moment you align with belief, what you seek begins to move toward you. Everything starts shifting behind the scenes. People you have never met begin making decisions that will bless your life. Circumstances start aligning, delays dissolve. What once felt impossible begins to flow naturally. It is not the belief itself that moves mountains. It is the energy that belief awakens within you. When you truly believe, you stop begging, chasing, and doubting. You start walking, speaking, and thinking as if the blessing is already yours. That shift in energy is what creation responds to. You become magnetic to the very thing you once pursued. The universe is precise. It does not deliver according to your words, it delivers according to your vibration. The blessing that belongs to you is never lost. It's simply waiting for the frequency of your readiness. When you rise in faith, your reality rises with you. When you align with gratitude, what you desire accelerates toward you. So if you've been waiting for change, stop waiting. Start aligning. Blessings are not coming someday. They are already here, pressing to be received. Prepare your heart to hold them. Clear the space within by releasing fear and doubt. Believe that what you seek is seeking you. When you finally feel that truth deeply enough, you'll realize that blessings were never late. You are simply being prepared to receive what has always been yours. Imagination is the divine instrument of creation. It is the sacred bridge between the unseen and the seen, the invisible power through which all realities are formed. Every structure, every invention, every great idea that has ever appeared in the world began first as an image in someone's imagination. What you can hold within your inner vision, you can eventually hold in your hands. Imagination is not fantasy, it is creation in its purest state. When you close your eyes and see yourself living the life you desire, you are not daydreaming. You are participating in the very act by which worlds are made. The unseen realm is where the blueprint of your destiny is drawn, and imagination is the divine tool that sketches the design. To imagine is to claim, to assume, and to give shape to the formless. The moment you imagine something with feeling, you set the creative process into motion. But imagination alone is not enough. It must be accompanied by emotion, by the feeling of already having what you desire. Feeling is the secret that breathes life into your vision. When you feel the reality of what you desire as if it's already done, you impress that image upon the deeper layers of your mind, and the subconscious begins to act as though it were true. It rearranges your world, aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities to bring your inner vision into physical form. This is why you must train your imagination to dwell on what you desire, not what you fear. Most people unconsciously use their imagination against themselves, picturing worst-case scenarios, reliving pain, expecting disappointment. Then they are surprised when those very outcomes appear. They forget that imagination does not discriminate between good or bad, wanted or unwanted. It simply creates according to what you hold most vividly within. To imagine correctly is to live inwardly from the end, not toward it. It means closing your eyes and feeling the joy, peace, and fulfillment of already being the person who has received their desire. Do not merely visualize it, enter it. Step into that inner scene with all your senses alive. Hear the words of congratulations. Feel the emotions of gratitude. See the details around you. When you dwell in that state long enough, it becomes more real to you than the physical evidence of its absence. And here lies the mystery. When the inner becomes more real than the outer must transform to match it. The world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting the contents of imagination. If you persist in seeing and feeling yourself as already successful, already loved, already abundant, the outer world will eventually echo that vision. Imagination is the womb of reality. Everything begins there and nothing exists without first being imagined. So dare to use it boldly, intentionally, and with reverence. Feel your desire as fulfilled and life will conspire to make it so. For the divine lives in your imagination, and through it you shape the very world you walk through. And so no further, Bridget, Benedict Thrasby. Imagine. Through faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. It is the invisible connection that links your desire, which exists in the realm of spirit, to its eventual expression in the physical world. Everything you can see began first as something unseen, an idea, a belief, a vision held in faith. Faith is not mere hope or positive thinking. It is the unwavering conviction that what you desire is already real, even when no physical evidence supports it. It is the quiet confidence that knows creation is complete in the invisible long before it becomes visible. The unseen is not unreal, it is simply invisible until believed. The invisible world is teeming with possibilities, waiting for the signal of your faith to bring them into form. What you call the unseen is not empty space. It is the spiritual dimension where all creation begins. Just because your senses cannot yet perceive it does not mean it does not exist. Electricity was unseen before it was discovered. Sound waves were unseen before they were measured. Likewise, your answered prayer already exists, waiting for your faith to draw it into visibility. And faith is the key that unlocks that invisible storehouse. When you believe something to be true, even without evidence, you activate the divine law of manifestation. Faith transforms imagination into experience. It turns potential into presence. It is the spiritual substance that gives shape to your unseen desires. You do not need to see the whole path. You only need to take the first step in belief. Once you do, life begins to align itself with your conviction. Most people wait for proof before they believe. They say, I'll have faith when I see results. But that is not faith. That is observation. Faith precedes sight. It is believing before seeing, trusting before receiving, knowing before proof appears. The moment you shift from doubt to faith, you cross the bridge between possibility and reality. The unseen begins to crystallize into the seen. Faith is also a vibration, a frequency of certainty that radiates from within you. When you hold faith, your entire being emits a signal that says, it is done. That signal moves into the unseen, drawing to you the people, opportunities, and circumstances that match your belief. You may not notice it immediately, but the rearrangement begins the instant your faith becomes stronger than your fear. To live by faith is to walk in partnership with the unseen. It is to rest in the knowing that what you have imagined, what you have prayed for, is already accomplished in spirit. You don't need to force it. You only need to remain faithful to the inner vision until it takes form. Faith does not make things easier, it makes them inevitable. It bypasses logic and goes straight to divine law. The unseen is not some distant mystical realm. It is the source of everything you will ever experience. When you believe in what you cannot yet see, you grant it permission to appear. So, hold your faith steady. Let your inner conviction be stronger than the appearance of delay. For what you believe in faith today will soon become what you see tomorrow. Divine timing is not delay, it's perfect orchestration. What you call waiting is often the universe arranging the perfect sequence of events, people, and circumstances to fulfill your desire in the most harmonious way possible. The human mind, confined by time and logic, interprets pauses as setbacks. But to the divine, there are no delays, only precision. Every pause has purpose. Every detour is direction. Every apparent stillness is preparation for the unfolding that is already in motion. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up every day to check its progress. You trust the process, knowing that life is working underground, invisible to your eyes, but active nonetheless. The same principle governs divine timing. The unseen realm is never idle. It is constantly orchestrating, aligning details and weaving connections that your conscious mind cannot yet see. While you think nothing is happening, everything is happening, just not in a way that is visible from where you stand. Your logical mind seeks control. It wants to know when, how, and through whom your desire will appear. But divine orchestration operates beyond human reasoning. It sees the entire picture, past, present, and future, and aligns all pieces with precision. Sometimes the delay you resist is actually divine protection. Sometimes the waiting you despise is grace giving you time to become the person capable of holding the blessing you've asked for. The truth is, you are never waiting for the universe. The universe is waiting for your readiness, your full alignment in faith, gratitude, and trust. When you surrender your need to control and rest in divine timing, peace replaces anxiety. You begin to understand that what's meant for you can never be lost, and what seems delayed is only being perfected. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every unexpected turn is a thread in the larger design that leads you exactly where you're meant to be. Divine timing is not random. It's rhythmic. It beats to the pulse of your spiritual growth. When your vibration rises, when your consciousness expands, what you've been asking for meets you effortlessly. That's why forcing outcomes rarely works. You cannot rush what is being orchestrated on multiple levels of reality. What you can do is stay in faith, keep your inner state aligned, and trust that unseen forces are arranging everything in your favor. Often, when the manifestation finally appears, you look back and realize that it arrived at the exact moment you were truly ready. Not a second before, not a second after. The divine plan is flawless, even when it feels uncertain. So breathe. Release the need to control the timing. The very thing you think is being delayed is being divinely arranged. Life is not making you wait. It's positioning you for the perfect unfolding. The orchestration is already happening in silence, and when it arrives, you will understand that every waiting season was sacred preparation for the miracle that could only come right on time. Everything you desire, every shift, every blessing, every answered prayer is already unfolding in ways beyond your comprehension. Change begins the moment you change within. The world outside you is only a mirror, reflecting your faith, your imagination, and your readiness to receive. You are not waiting for life to move. Life is waiting for your alignment, your belief, your surrender to divine timing. So stand firm in faith. Dare to feel your desires as already fulfilled. Walk as if everything is already working for you, because it is. Trust the unseen. The orchestration is perfect. The timing is divine, and the outcome is certain. Everything is about to change. And when it does, you will see that it was never luck, never coincidence. It was the power within you awakening to its true nature. Say thanks. Thank you for listening, for believing, and for allowing these words to awaken something greater within you. Your time has come. Stay open, stay faithful, and get ready to receive it all. But before you can win out there, you must win in here. Within the invisible realm of imagination, everything begins unseen. Every victory, every success, every transformation starts as a quiet conviction, a knowing within the heart, before it is ever witnessed by the eyes. You have been asking for a sign, haven't you? And here it is. Not because something new is coming, but because what you have been desiring is already yours. The waiting is over. The moment you feel it real, it begins to form itself in your world. Look around you. What you call your reality is nothing more than a reflection of what you have assumed to be true about yourself. When you felt small, the world shrank. When you felt unworthy, the doors closed. But when you awaken to your power, the power to imagine and feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, the entire universe bows to that state. Winning is not a chase, it is a recognition. You don't need to earn what you already are. You only need to assume it, to wear the feeling like a royal garment, to walk in the quiet confidence that your victory is done, finished, sealed. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the joy of already being the one who has it all. Don't just think about it. Feel it. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the ease. That feeling is the creative power. That feeling is the hand of God shaping your world. Do not be moved by appearances. What you see right now may look incomplete. But remember, the visible world is just old news. It is yesterday's assumption playing itself out. Change the assumption, and tomorrow must obey. So stand tall. Your victory is not coming, it is already written. The sign you asked for is within your awareness. The moment you decide, the universe aligns. The people, the opportunities, the ideas, they are already on their way, drawn irresistibly to the new state you occupy. You have entered a new timeline the instant you accepted this truth. You are the source. You are the cause. You are the one writing your story. So hear me now. This is your sign. Get ready to win everything, because everything has already been given. All that remains is for you to believe it, to feel it, and to walk in it as if it were already so. You are the cause, not the effect. Everything you experience in your outer world is a mirror, a perfect reflection of what you have accepted as true about yourself within. The world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Every circumstance, every event, every encounter you face is a reflection of your inner conversations, your assumptions, your deep-seated beliefs that operate beneath the surface of your conscious thought. When you begin to see life this way, you reclaim the power that has always been yours, the power to create, to direct, to command reality itself. The truth is simple, yet profound. Your assumptions shape your world. What you believe yourself to be, you will inevitably express in the conditions of your life. You may think you are reacting to the outer world, but in reality, the outer world is reacting to you. The people you meet, the opportunities you attract, the obstacles you face, all are reflections of the state of consciousness you dwell in. Change the state, and the reflection must change. It cannot resist you, for it has no life of its own. The outer world is nothing but the echo of your inner voice. Think of your imagination as the seed and the outer world as the soil. Whatever seed you plant, whether it be fear, doubt, confidence, or abundance, will eventually take root and blossom into form. Most people tend to look at the soil and blame it for the harvest, forgetting that the seed was their own doing. But when you understand that your imagination precedes creation, you stop fighting the shadows and start mastering the light within. You cease trying to manipulate the world of effects and instead begin to cultivate the world of cause, your own mind. Every assumption you hold creates a vibration, a frequency, an invisible pattern that draws corresponding experiences into your life. If you assume that life is hard, that people are unkind, that opportunities are rare, you will see those beliefs confirmed over and over again. But if you dare to assume the opposite, that life favors you, that people love to help you, that success flows easily to you, then you shift the entire structure of your reality. The outer world rearranges itself to match the new image you hold of yourself. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the architect of your experience. Nothing changes until you do. The moment you take your attention away from blaming conditions and turn it inward, asking, what am I assuming to be true right now? You step into creative authority. This realization frees you from the illusion of powerlessness. It reminds you that you do not need to wait for the world to improve before you can feel at peace. You can feel it now. And the world must follow that inner command. So the next time you look at your life and wish something were different, do not fight the reflection. Go within. Change the assumption. Feel the new reality until it feels natural. The mirror cannot resist your command. It must reflect what you are. When you understand this, you no longer chase change. You become the change. And as you do, your world will transform effortlessly into the likeness of your new belief. Feeling is the secret doorway. It is the bridge between the invisible world of imagination and the visible world of experience. Every thought, every vision, every dream that has ever manifested into physical form has passed through this doorway of feeling. You can imagine endlessly, think beautifully, and speak positively, but unless you feel your desire to be real, it remains only an idea. Feeling gives life to thought. Feeling clothes imagination in substance. It is through feeling that the invisible becomes visible. When you imagine something and feel it is real, you are not simply daydreaming, you are creating. The universe responds not to words, but to vibration, and vibration is determined by how you feel. If you feel lack, the world must mirror lack. If you feel fulfilled, the world must show you fulfillment. It is law. You can affirm wealth, health, love, or success 1,000 times, but if deep down you feel unworthy, anxious, or doubtful, that feeling will dominate and shape your reality. Feeling is the creative power itself, the silent energy that molds your life according to your emotional conviction. Everything in your life right now is the crystallized form of past feelings. The people you attract, the circumstances you encounter, even the rhythm of your days, all are echoes of what you have emotionally accepted as true. This is why intellectual knowledge alone cannot transform your life. You may understand spiritual principles perfectly, but until they become emotional truths within you, they remain dormant. Feeling is what awakens them. It is the language of creation, the movement of consciousness into form. So how do you use this secret doorway? By assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Close your eyes and enter the scene of your desire as if it were already real. Don't merely see it, feel it. Feel the relief of having it. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the satisfaction of already being in possession of what you once longed for. Let that emotion rise within you until it becomes your natural state. The more real it feels, the faster it must appear. This is not imagination pretending. This is imagination creating. You are impressing upon your subconscious mind the creative power that governs reality, the emotional blueprint of what must come to pass. Most people wait for the world to give them permission to feel good. They say, I'll feel abundant when I have money. I'll feel loved when I'm in a relationship. But that is backward. The world does not cause your feelings. Your feelings cause the world. You must feel rich before the wealth appears. Feel loved before the partner arrives. Feel successful before the success unfolds. When you hold the feeling long enough, the world cannot resist. It must rearrange itself to match your inner conviction. Feeling is not weak. It is the greatest strength. It is the creative pulse of the divine working through you. Every time you feel as though your desire is already real, you open that secret doorway and walk into the reality of your choosing. The unseen world responds instantly, and the visible world follows in perfect order. What you feel to be true in imagination will, without fail, harden into fact in your reality. The sign is your awareness. It does not come from the sky, nor from a coincidence outside of you. It rises quietly from within. A knowing, a shift in consciousness that whispers, this is it, my time has come. That inner certainty, that invisible nudge, is the universe's confirmation. It is not a prediction of what will be, it is the revelation of what already is. When you feel that quiet assurance, you are no longer waiting for your moment, you have stepped into it. Those people search endlessly for external signs, numbers on clocks, words on billboards, or messages in songs. They want proof that the universe has heard them. But the true sign does not appear outside, it awakens inside. When your awareness changes, the outer world has no choice but to follow. The sign is not the butterfly landing on your hand, it is the peace that settles in your heart before it does. The moment you feel complete, the outer confirmation becomes inevitable. This is how creation works. Everything begins as a movement within consciousness. When your awareness expands to include your desire, when you feel it as already yours, you shift into the reality where that desire is already fulfilled. That shift in awareness is the sign. It means you are now one with the state you longed for. You no longer chase it, you embody it. You no longer look for evidence, you become the evidence. You know this feeling. It's that sudden calm after struggle, the quiet conviction that nothing more needs to be done. You stop worrying, stop forcing, and something inside you says, it's handled. That is the voice of your higher self confirming alignment. It is not a future promise. It is the present realization that what you sought has already been accepted by your inner world. Once accepted, the outer world must mirror it, not by chance, but by law. The universe is not separate from you. It is your expanded self expressing through infinite forms. When you feel that your time has come, it means consciousness has moved, your frequency has changed, you have entered the state of fulfillment. From that point, reality begins to reorganize itself to match your new vibration. The right people, opportunities, and experiences start appearing, not because they were missing before, but because you were not yet aware of them. Awareness opens the door to what has always been waiting. Do not doubt that feeling. It is sacred. It is your sign. When you sense that inner readiness, that quiet certainty, trust it completely. Don't look for additional proof, because none will come until you accept it as final. The sign is self-continued. It does not require validation. The more you honor it, the more life responds. The sign is your awareness. The shift from hoping to knowing, from waiting to being. When that happens, rejoice. You have already crossed the threshold. Everything that follows, the events, the manifestations, the celebrations, are simply echoes of that moment when you first felt, deep within, that your time had come. Live as if it's already done. The moment you can believe that the future you desire is not something to be created, but something already completed, everything changes. Life begins to move in harmony with your conviction. The truth is simple yet profound. Creation is finished. Every version of your life already exists within the infinite field of consciousness. You do not have to make your dream real. You only have to align with the version of yourself for whom it already is real. When you step into that state mentally, the world begins to rearrange itself to reflect your new position in consciousness. Most people live in a constant state of waiting for the right moment, the right sign, the right conditions to feel complete. But life doesn't respond to waiting, it responds to assumption. When you live as if your desire is already fulfilled, you step into a new frequency of being. You think differently, move differently, and speak differently. You stop asking for what you want and start expressing it through your confidence, gratitude, and calm expectation. You no longer look to the world for permission, you give yourself permission to live from the end. This is the secret behind every true transformation. You cannot attract what you are not willing to embody. When you feel yourself already living your dream, the universe mirrors that feeling back through people, circumstances, and opportunities. If you desire success, imagine the version of you who is already successful. How do they feel when they wake up in the morning? How do they carry themselves? How do they speak, decide, and think? Step into that version of yourself now, not someday, but now. And reality will follow your lead. Living as if it's already done is not pretending, it's choosing. It's an inner act of faith that declares, "This is who I am now." You no longer operate from lack or desire, you operate from fulfillment and gratitude. When you walk as if your wish is realized, you dissolve the separation between desire and possession. You merge with your goal in consciousness, and what you unite with internally must appear externally. The world is only a mirror, and it faithfully reflects the image you hold within. This practice requires trust, not in luck or chance, but in the unseen laws that govern life. You cannot see the roots forming beneath the soil, but you know the seed will bloom. In the same way, once you live from the end, everything invisible begins to conspire for your visible success. The details take care of themselves. The people you need appear. The timing aligns perfectly. the impossible begins to seem ordinary. So, dare to live as if your dream is already complete. Stop asking, when will it happen? And start declaring, it is happening now. Feel it real. Walk in that state until it feels natural. Soon you will look around and realize that nothing outside of you changed. First, you did. And because you did, the world had no choice but to obey. ChatGPT said, detach from appearances. The world you see right now is not a reflection of what is. It is a reflection of what was. Every condition, every circumstance, every so-called problem you face is the echo of a previous state of consciousness, a past assumption that has already been impressed upon reality. What you see is not the living truth, it is the residue of thoughts once held, feelings once believed, and identities once worn. When you understand this, you stop reacting to appearances, because you realize they are nothing more than the solidified past, shadows cast by the light of your former self. The mistake most people make is to wrestle with a shadow. They fight against what has already been created, trying to force change on the level of effect rather than cause. But you cannot alter a reflection by touching the mirror. You must change the face that stands before it. The outer world is a mirror, and fighting with appearances only strengthens them. The more you react to what you see, the more power you give it. But when you detach, when you withdraw your emotional attention from the outer picture and turn inward to change your assumption, the shadow must fade and reform in the likeness of your new inner light. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means understanding. It means seeing through appearances without being deceived by them. When you stop identifying with the temporary and start identifying with the eternal, your imagination, your awareness, you reclaim your creative power. You realize that conditions are not the cause of your feelings are the cause of your conditions. You no longer beg life to change, you command it through inner alignment. Imagine standing before a movie screen, arguing with the images. It would be futile, wouldn't it? The screen cannot change until you change the film. Your imagination is that film, and reality is the projection. The moment you rewrite the story in your mind, feel a new emotion, hold a new belief, accept a new identity, the outer picture must eventually shift, but there is always a delay, a divine gestation period between inner creation and outer manifestation. And acceptance becomes just like that, a delay. That is why appearances can be so deceiving. They show you yesterday while you are creating tomorrow. So when things seem difficult, when results appear opposite to what you desire, remind yourself, this is the past solidified. It has no power except the power you continue to give it through attention. Do not fight the shadow, change the light within. Turn your focus inward, feel the new reality as real, and rest in the knowing that it must come forth. The old image will fade as surely as night gives way to dawn. Detachment is mastery. It is the calm awareness that appearances are temporary and powerless before the creative force of imagination. Once you stop reacting to what you see and begin to live from what you know, the world bends to your new assumption. The shadow obeys the light, always. Change the light within and watch the outer world transform in perfect reflection. Winning is a state of being. It is not something you achieve someday after struggle, competition, or effort. It is a realization, a deep recognition that you were never meant to become a winner because you already are one. The feeling of victory is not found in the outer accomplishment, but in the inner awareness of your own completeness. When you truly understand this, you stop chasing success and begin expressing it. You stop searching for validation and start radiating confidence, born from knowing who you are. Most people believe winning happens only when they surpass others, gain wealth, or reach a certain goal. But true winning is not about outcomes. It is about alignment. You are in a winning state when your thoughts, feelings, and actions harmonize with the belief that life is unfolding perfectly for you. In that state, everything you need flows naturally, effortlessly. You stop struggling against circumstances and begin to move with the rhythm of life itself. Winning is not the reward of effort. It is the result of awareness. When you feel yourself to be a winner, the world mirrors that conviction back to you. Opportunities appear where doors were once closed. People treat you differently, not because they suddenly changed, but because your energy did. Life responds to your inner image. If you believe you are lacking, life will faithfully show you lack. But if you know you are abundant, life will show you abundance everywhere you turn. It is not magic, it is law. Recognizing yourself as a winner is not arrogance, it is truth. It is remembering that the same creative power that spins galaxies and causes the sun to rise also lives in you. That power cannot fail, cannot lose, cannot be defeated. You are its expression, and therefore victory is your natural state. Every time you imagine yourself succeeding, every time you feel the joy of accomplishment before the world confirms it, you are living from that divine state of winning. This state is not dependent on what others think or what circumstances look like. You may appear to lose in the eyes of the world, but if you remain steadfast in the awareness of your inner victory, the outer must eventually reflect it. The temporary appearance of defeat is only a test of faith, a question from life asking, will you still believe in who you are when appearances contradict it? True winners do. They remain calm, centered, and sure, knowing the outcome is already finished in their favor. You don't become a winner through striving. You awaken to it through remembrance. You realize that every quality you seek, strength, success, peace, power, already exists within. When you claim it inwardly, the outer world arranges itself to confirm that truth. Everything begins to align: circumstances, people, timing, and events. The world bends to your certainty. Winning, then, is not something you do, it is something you are. Live from that awareness. Feel the victory before it appears. Know that nothing is missing, nothing is delayed. You have already won, and life is simply catching up to your recognition of it. So now, my friend, you can see this was never about becoming something new, but about remembering who you already are. The power, the victory, the abundance you've been seeking are not waiting in the distance. They are here within you right now. You are the cause, not the effect. The world bends to your assumption, your feeling, your awareness. The moment you decide that it is already done, the universe begins to rearrange itself in your favor. Detach from appearances, don't fight the shadow, change the light within. Live as though your dream is complete, feel it real, walk in it, and the outer world will echo your inner knowing. Because winning is not a race to be run, it's a state to be remembered. You are not trying to win, you are allowing yourself to realize that you've already won. This is your sign, the confirmation that your time has come. The victory you've been praying for is already sealed in consciousness. Walk in faith, act in confidence, and live in gratitude. Everything you desire is moving toward you because it already belongs to you. Thank you for listening, for awakening, for daring to believe in your own creative power. Now, go forward, not to chase success, but to embody it. Your time is not coming. Your time is now. Thank you. There comes a sacred point in every life when the invisible begins to move, when what once felt distant begins to stir, and heaven quietly whispers, now. That moment is upon you. The season has changed. What once seemed delayed was never denial. It was divine orchestration. God was not ignoring you. He was aligning everything for your good. Long before anything changes in your world, the unseen realm has already moved. The script was written before you could even imagine it. And now that divine plan, perfectly timed, perfectly designed, is unfolding. The shift is not coming. The shift has begun. Every prayer you whispered in faith, every tear that carried hope, every moment you held your peace while the storm raged, all of it was seen. You were never forgotten. Those hidden seasons of endurance were not empty. They were essential. God was building in you the strength to receive what you had asked for. But this reset, you see, creation is finished. Everything you desire already exists, not somewhere far away, but here, in the invisible dimension of spirit. The moment you believe that what you desire is already yours, you move from asking to knowing. And that knowing, that quiet, unwavering certainty, is the very vibration that pulls your desire into visibility. This is the mystery of faith. You are not waiting for it to happen. It is waiting for you to believe it already has. When your inner state matches your desired state, reality must obey. Life has no choice but to reflect the truth you have accepted. Every obstacle you faced was preparation. The doors that seemed closed were divine redirections toward the one that was truly meant for you. The people who left were not rejection, they were release. The waiting was not punishment, it was positioning. And now the alignment is complete. The timing is perfect. The divine order has reached its moment of manifestation. This is your time. Not next month, not next year, now. God is turning everything in your favor. What once seemed against you is now working for you. What once looked like loss is revealing itself as hidden blessing. What you thought ended was simply transformed. The whole universe is conspiring to fulfill the word that was spoken over your life. So stand firm in this knowing. You are living in the unfolding of answered prayer. Walk as though it is done. Speak as though it has manifested. Feel as though it is already yours, because in truth, it is. This is not the season of struggle. It is the season of revelation. The invisible has become visible. The promise has ripened into manifestation. God has turned it. Everything. And your time, your divinely appointed, long prepared, perfectly aligned moment has come. Long before the evidence reaches your eyes, the shift has already begun. The unseen realm, that sacred space where faith plants its seed, has been quietly moving, arranging, and aligning every detail in your favor. Though your physical senses may tell you nothing is happening, the truth is far greater and deeper than appearances. In the silence, in the waiting, in the unseen, the miracle is already in motion. Every answered prayer begins in the invisible. Just as a seed breaks open beneath the soil before sprouting into the sunlight, your desires begin their transformation long before you can perceive them. The delay is not denial. It is the divine sequence of manifestation unfolding perfectly. The unseen realm does not rush because it knows everything is already finished. You are not waiting for God to start, He already has. The pieces are moving, the people are being positioned, and the opportunities are aligning in ways your mind cannot yet comprehend. What feels like stillness is sacred movement. What feels like silence is divine speech in a higher language. When nothing seems to shift outwardly, that is often when the greatest rearrangement is taking place inwardly. Life begins to organize itself around your faith, not around your fear, not around your doubt, but around your inner conviction that what you have believed for is already yours. This is why you are called to rest in assurance, not to struggle in uncertainty. The outer world is only a mirror reflecting your inner assumption. When you dare to believe that things are already turning in your favor, the unseen power begins to arrange itself to make that belief visible. Faith is not about forcing the outcome. It is about aligning with it. You do not need to know how or when. You simply need to know it is. Imagine the unseen realm as a vast network of divine intelligence. Every circumstance, every encounter, every event being interwoven perfectly to deliver your desired outcome at the appointed moment. When one door closes, it is not rejection, it is redirection. When someone leaves, it is not loss, it is divine substitution making space for what truly belongs to you. The invisible hands of purpose are never idle. They are crafting a future that will astonish you when it arrives in form. This is the holy paradox. Before you see the change has already taken place. Before the blessing manifests, it already exists in substance. You are walking into what is already done. So release the anxiety that demands proof and rest in the knowing that proof always follows faith. Every moment, you choose trust over doubt. You accelerate the visible unfolding of what is already finished in spirit. Right now, in the unseen, things are shifting. The right people are being drawn to you, opportunities are forming, and answers are being released. The evidence may not yet be visible, but it is inevitable. The delay is divine timing aligning perfection. The unseen shift has already begun, and soon the invisible will become undeniable. Faith is the bridge between what is unseen and what is seen. It connects the invisible world of spirit with the visible world of form. Everything that has ever appeared in your life, every success, every opportunity, every manifestation, first existed as an idea, a belief, a conviction within you. The outer world is only the reflection of your inner world, a mirror showing you what you have accepted as true in consciousness. When you understand this, you no longer wait for life to change before you believe. You believe, and life must change. Faith is not a hope, nor is it a wish. It is a deep inner knowing, a certainty that what you have imagined is already yours. It is the unseen conviction that precedes all visible creation. When you stand in faith, You are standing in the unseen reality of your desire, claiming it as already complete. The invisible is the parent of the visible, and faith is the bridge that allows the unseen to cross over into form. What you assume to be true within yourself, whether consciously or unconsciously, must externalize itself. The law of life is correspondence. As within, so without. When you dwell in the feeling of lack, you call forth more lack. When you dwell in the feeling of fulfillment, you summon fulfillment. The world does not respond to your words, it responds to your inner state. Your outer circumstances are simply the echo of your inner assumption. To walk by faith means to see beyond appearances. It means to trust the invisible more than what your senses can perceive. The world may show lack, delay, or resistance, but faith declares it is already done. It refuses to be moved by temporary facts because it knows that facts change when faith remains firm. When you persist in your inner vision, life eventually bends to the authority of your belief. Faith is creative power in motion. It is not passive acceptance, it is active awareness. It speaks of things that are not yet visible as though they were. It lives from the end, not toward it. It assumes the tone and feeling of the wish fulfilled until that inner state solidifies into physical reality. You do not need to force the manifestation. You only need to remain faithful to the inner image until it becomes flesh. Every belief you hold with conviction becomes form, because the universe mirrors your consciousness with precision. If you believe you are loved, life will show you evidence of love. If you believe you are chosen, doors will open to prove it true. The outer world has no will of its own. It only obeys the command of your inner assumption. So, when you find yourself waiting for change, remember, faith is not waiting for something to happen. Faith is the happening. The moment you claim it within, it is already yours in essence. The bridge between the invisible and the visible is not time, it is belief. And when your belief becomes unwavering, the unseen must reveal itself in the seen. You are not striving to make something happen, you are awakening to what is already complete. The truth is, every desire, every dream, every answered prayer already exists in the unseen dimension. Creation is finished, nothing is missing, the life you long for, the opportunities you hope to attract, the peace you wish to feel, they all exist now in potential form, waiting for your consciousness to align with them. You are not here to create from nothing. You are here to select from the infinite realities that already exist in the mind of God. This understanding changes everything. Instead of struggling, you rest. Instead of trying to make things work, you align with the knowing that they already do. You realize that your true work is inner, not in the world of doing, but in the world of being. When your inner state harmonizes with the state of your desire, you magnetize the corresponding reality into visibility. Life simply mirrors your consciousness faithfully and without error. To live in the finished work means to stop asking when and start believing now. It is to rest in the awareness that what you seek is already present, though unseen. Just as the tree is already contained within the seed, your fulfilled desire is contained within your assumption of its reality. The more you dwell in the feeling that it is done, the faster the outer world reorganizes itself to confirm your belief. So that is Pretasegi. This is why forcing, worrying, and doubting never work. They signal that you believe the work is unfinished, that your dream is still far away. But the moment you shift from striving to knowing, from asking to assuming, everything begins to move in your favor. The energy that once scattered through effort becomes focused through faith. You start to walk differently, speak differently, and feel differently because you are no longer waiting, you are living as though it is already so. In this state, time loses its power over you. You no longer chase what is already complete. You no longer pray from lack, but from gratitude. You give thanks before the evidence appears because you understand that it must appear. The outer world cannot resist the conviction of a soul that knows the promise is already fulfilled. Every outcome you could ever desire already exists in the vast field of infinite potential. You are not creating it, you are tuning your awareness to it. Like a radio picking up a station, you receive the frequency of your chosen reality through inner alignment. The more you persist in that state of being, the clearer and stronger the signal becomes until it solidifies as physical experience. So release the struggle. Stop searching for signs that it's working. Begin to rest in the divine fact that it is already done. The finished work is not something you must earn or chase. It is something you awaken to. The kingdom of your desire is already within you, complete and perfect. All that remains is for you to believe it, to feel it, and to live from it, and life will have no choice but to reveal what has always been yours. And life, divine timing, is not something that exists in the distant future. It is the eternal now. The moment you align your inner state with the vibration of what you desire, that is the moment it begins to manifest. The universe does not operate on human clocks or calendars. It operates on readiness. And when your inner world ripens, when your faith becomes stronger than your doubt, when your peace outweighs your fear, that alignment calls forth the visible evidence. What you have been waiting for is not coming later. It is here now, unfolding in perfect order. So many live believing that their blessing, healing, or breakthrough is still ahead of them. They look toward tomorrow, hoping that the right moment will arrive. But divine timing does not wait for time. It waits for alignment. The instant you feel the reality of your answered prayer, the shift happens. What appears as waiting is only the period in which your consciousness is being prepared to sustain what you have asked for. You were never waiting on God. He was waiting on you to believe that it is already done. This moment, this breath, is sacred. The waiting season has ended not because something changed externally, but because something shifted within you. The doubt that once blocked the flow of blessing has been replaced by certainty. The striving that once exhausted your spirit has been replaced by surrender. You have outgrown the version of yourself that needed to wait, and you have stepped into the awareness that everything you desire already exists in this eternal present. Life can only mirror your readiness. When you were uncertain, life reflected uncertainty. When you hoped but doubted, life gave you glimpses without fulfillment. But now, as your inner world has ripened with trust, clarity, and conviction, the external world must follow. It cannot resist the command of your consciousness. Reality bends to the state you occupy. When you live from the end, when you think, speak, and feel from the assurance that it is done, creation must obey. The beauty of divine timing is that it never arrives too early or too late. It manifests at the precise moment you can receive it without fear and sustain it without loss. The waiting season was not punishment. It was preparation. You were being refined in patience, expanded in faith, and strengthened in vision, so that when this moment came, you would recognize it and not sabotage it. Do not sabotage it. Now you stand at the threshold of manifestation. The invisible has matured into visibility. The inner seed you planted with faith has blossomed into form. This is your appointed hour, the culmination of everything you have endured, learned, and believed. Let go of the idea that your blessing is still on its way. It is already here, revealing itself piece by piece. Time is not your master, it is your servant. The divine operates only in the now. So claim it, feel it, live it. The waiting season is over. The promise is ripe. The moment you have been preparing for has arrived. Your time is now. Every obstacle you have faced was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to prepare you. Nothing in your journey was wasted, not the pain, not the disappointment, not the delay. Every setback carried within it a seed of divine purpose. What looked like detours were sacred directions, leading you through the very experiences that would shape the strength, wisdom, and depth required to hold what you have prayed for. Life was never punishing you, it was preparing you. You see, when you ask for something great, life must first make you equal to it. You cannot receive beyond the capacity of your own consciousness. The dream you desire, the blessing you seek, carries weight, and the obstacles were God's way of strengthening your hands to hold it. Every season of waiting taught you endurance. Every loss taught you detachment. Every disappointment taught you trust. And all of it was working together even when you could not see how, except it was not. There were moments when you wondered if you had been forgotten, moments when the silence felt endless. But what you did not realize was that the foundation of your destiny was being laid beneath the surface. Just as a tree's roots grow deep in darkness before breaking through the soil, your spirit was being fortified in unseen ways. The delay was not a denial, it was the deep work of divine preparation. The pain carved space within you for greater compassion. The rejection cleansed you of dependence on validation. The confusion taught you to listen to intuition over circumstance. Every obstacle served a purpose far beyond what you could have perceived in the moment. Looking back, you can now see that the very things you thought were holding you back were actually building you up. As you received what you wanted before you were ready, it might have slipped through your fingers. But now, after being tested, refined, and renewed, you have become the kind of person who can sustain the magnitude of what's unfolding. You have learned to walk by faith when sight failed, to trust the unseen hand that guided you even through loss. You carry within you a strength born from surrender, the quiet power that comes only from walking through the fire and discovering it could not consume you. Now the preparation is complete. The weight you once bore has become wisdom. The obstacles that seemed to delay you have actually aligned you. What once hurt now serves you. You are not the same as you were before the storm. You have expanded into someone capable of receiving more, giving more, and being more. So bless the obstacles, thank the delays, honor the disappointments. They were never barriers, they were building blocks. Each one was a hidden act of grace, shaping your spirit to sustain the blessing that is now emerging. Nothing was wasted, everything was used, and now that you have become equal to your desire, life can finally reveal the magnitude of what has been waiting for you all along. Your inner assumption is the silent architect of your reality. Life is not responding to what you want, it is responding to what you believe. The outer world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting the conviction you hold within. When you assume that your prayer is already answered, when you think, feel, and act from that knowing, Reality has no choice but to rearrange itself to match that state of being. The universe moves not by effort, but by energy, not by pleading, but by belief. To assume is to accept something as already true. It is the invisible act of faith that shifts everything around you. The moment you inwardly claim the reality of your desire, a vibration is set in motion, one that calls forth experiences, people, and opportunities aligned with your new state. You don't need to chase it, you need only to embody it. Life cannot resist the frequency of one who knows. This is the secret behind answered prayer. It is not about asking over and over again. It is about receiving inwardly before it appears outwardly. When you continue to ask, you affirm that you do not yet have it. But when you assume it is already done, you enter the consciousness of fulfillment. From that state, your words, emotions, and actions naturally express gratitude, confidence, and peace, the same qualities that magnetize your desire into form. Everything begins within. Your assumptions determine your perception, and your perception determines your experience. When you assume lack, you perceive obstacles. When you assume abundance, you perceive possibilities. The world rearranges itself according to your internal agreement. You are never waiting for reality to change. Reality is waiting for you to change your assumption about it. To live as though your prayer is already answered is not pretending, it is aligning. You are not denying what exists, you are affirming a higher truth that transcends it. When you walk, speak, and feel from the conviction that your desire is fulfilled, you begin to emit a new energy that commands the cooperation of all things. Circumstances bend, timing shifts, people appear, and events unfold in your favor, not by coincidence, but by correspondence. The outer world mirrors the inner declaration, "It is done." The universe is not random, it is responsive. Every thought clothed in feeling becomes a creative decree. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you impress that reality upon the invisible substance of life. That impression must express, it must externalize, because the law of consciousness is exact and unerring. So release the need to see immediate proof. The proof always follows the assumption, never precedes it. Persist in the inner knowing, even when nothing seems to move. Hold the feeling of completion until the world catches up to what your spirit already knows is true. When you live from your fulfilled prayer, life obeys. The universe is simply a mirror of belief, endlessly rearranging itself to reflect the conviction of your spirit. Assume the best, and the best will find you, not because you forced it, but because you became it. Everything you have walked through, the waiting, the wondering, the breaking, the becoming, has brought you to this moment. Nothing was random. Every delay was divine. Every obstacle was preparation. Every unseen shift was quietly working in your favor. Now the inner alignment has been completed. The time of preparation has become the time of manifestation. You are not stepping into something new. You are awakening to what has always been yours. This is your appointed hour. The shift that began in the unseen is now emerging in the seen. Life is bending to the conviction of your spirit. The promise you once held in faith is now unfolding in form. All that is required of you is to remain still in knowing, to live, speak, and act from the reality of "it is done." God has turned everything in your favor. You are standing in the fulfillment of answered prayer. So as you move forward, walk in gratitude, walk in quiet confidence. Walk as one who knows that the divine plan has not only begun, it has reached its perfect hour. The waiting season is over. The doors are open. Your time has come. Thank you. Thank you for allowing these words to find a home in your spirit. May you carry this truth with you, that what you seek is already here, that God has already gone before you, and that the universe itself is conspiring for your good. Your shift is not coming, it is happening now. Walk in faith, live in peace, and remember always, everything is turning in your favor. Thank you. Everything you are facing right now is not working against you, it is working for you. Even when life feels uncertain, even when nothing seems to align, there is a greater orchestration unfolding behind the scenes. The unseen movement is often the most powerful. Just because you cannot see the shift doesn't mean the shift isn't happening. God is aligning every detail, every person, every opportunity, every event to lead you into the victory already written with your name on it. Your faith is not a request, it is a command to reality. When you assume the feeling of success, you invite the outcome to take form. The world you hope for exists first within your spirit. As you nurture that inner certainty, the physical world has no choice but to mirror it. Faith is the bridge that brings the unseen into the seen. Right now, what appears to be a setback is actually a setup. The delay you feel is divine timing arranging the best possible path. The door that closed did not close because you were unworthy. It closed because what's meant for you is greater than anything you have lost. God removes what would limit you and replaces it with what will elevate you. Never doubt the power at work within you. The moment you declare something as yours, heaven begins shifting circumstances to fulfill that declaration. Believe in the promise more than you fear the process. When you hold the end result in your heart, when you feel it as real, you become aligned with the miracle. Faith does not wait for proof. Faith is the proof. There is a version of you that God already sees. Victorious, fulfilled, abundant, that version is trying to emerge. The discomfort you feel is transformation. The uncertainty you feel is transition. Just as dawn follows the darkest hour, breakthrough follows pressure. Nothing is falling apart, everything is falling into place. So refuse to speak defeat. Refuse to imagine loss. Refuse to settle for anything less than the life God has designed for you. The victory is not coming, it has already been given. Your role is simply to remain faithful until what is promised becomes what is visible. Stand firm in your inner knowing. Celebrate the miracle before it arrives. Live in the feeling of answered prayer. God is shifting everything for your victory. Even now, even here, even if you cannot see it yet. Hold your faith. You are closer than you think. Your inner belief is the birthplace of your victory. Reality is responding to your faith. Before anything changes around you, something must first shift within you. Every breakthrough, every answered prayer, every blessing you will ever experience begins as a quiet conviction in your heart. It starts as a thought you choose to believe, a vision you dare to see, a promise you decide belongs to you. The world outside is only a reflection. of the world you continuously nurture inside. When you change the beliefs you hold about yourself, you transform the outcomes you experience in life. Life is not merely responding to your actions, it is responding to your assumptions. If you assume defeat, you create the conditions for defeat. If you assume victory, every part of life starts aligning to confirm that assumption. There is power in the beliefs you repeat to yourself when no one is watching. Your expectations shape what you attract. Your inner dialogue shapes the opportunities that show up. Your belief is not small or invisible. It is a force that bends circumstances into agreement. Every moment you picture yourself succeeding. Every time you choose hope over fear. Every time you speak life into your future, you are planting seeds that must eventually grow. You do not need to know how it will unfold. The how is never your responsibility. Your only job is to hold the vision and walk as if it is already done. Faith is not waiting with doubt. Faith is living from the truth that what you desire is already yours. When you treat your dream as real in the unseen, it becomes real in the seen. Your victory doesn't come when someone applauds you. It doesn't come when opportunities finally appear or when results start showing. It comes the moment you decide within your spirit that success is your destiny. That decision begins rewriting your story. It changes the doors that open, the relationships that enter, the strength rises within you, and the confidence that carries you through challenges. The moment you change your inner belief, your life has to follow. There will be moments when your faith is tested, moments when circumstances look opposite to what you believe. But that is the precise moment you must stand firm in your inner truth. The physical world often takes a little longer to catch up with the spiritual transformation already underway. What you see right now is not the final chapter. It is only the proof that a shift is taking place. Pressure means progress. Resistance means you are close. So guard your belief with persistence. Speak your victory more often than your fears. Feed your spirit with images of possibility, not evidence of limitation. Believe so deeply that the world has to agree. You are not a passive observer in your story. You are the author. And every time you choose faith over doubt, every time you align your emotions with what you desire instead of what you fear, you write a future that reflects your inner conviction. Victory does not start on the outside. It begins in the invisible chambers of your mind and heart. And as you hold unwavering belief in who you are meant to be, life will rise to meet that belief. Reality is listening. Reality is responding. And your inner faith is leading you exactly where you are destined to go. What looks like delay is divine rearrangement, preparation for fulfillment. When life makes you wait, it is not because you have been forgotten. It is because something sacred is being aligned for you. Every season of delay carries purpose, even if the purpose is invisible in the moment. Just like seeds are buried before they bloom, your dreams sometimes require a period of darkness and stillness before they emerge in full beauty. What feels like nothing happening is often everything happening beneath the surface. The human mind wants quick results. We want answers today. Doors open now, miracles on our schedule. But destiny is not rushed. The process that leads to your blessing is often more important than the blessing itself. There are lessons you must grow through, strengths that must be developed, people you must release, and new environments you must enter. Delay is not denial. It is refining, restructuring, and redirecting you into the precise position where fulfillment can find you. When a delay appears, it is easy to slip into frustration or discouragement. You may think nothing is working or that your prayers have been ignored, but the truth is much deeper. The timing of your breakthrough is being designed with perfection. If the blessing came too early, you might not recognize it, handle it well, or even keep it. If the opportunity arrived before you were ready, it could overwhelm instead of elevate. The waiting season ensures that when the door opens, you walk through it with confidence, stability, and wisdom. There are people who must exit your life before your next level begins. There are relationships that must be healed, mindsets that must be renewed, patience that must be tested. Delay is the divine way of clearing out what does not belong in your calling. God rearranges the pieces, moves situations around, and prepares the path long before you step onto it. Every change you face is a step in the orchestration. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random. You may feel stuck, but the truth is you are being positioned. You may feel like you're going in circles, but something is moving on your behalf. The uncomfortable transitions, the unexpected setbacks, the closed doors, these are signs that the rearrangement is happening. When construction is taking place inside your life, things can look messy for a while, but once the building is complete, the beauty of the design becomes undeniable. Trust the timing of your transformation. Trust that what is meant for you cannot pass you. Trust that if it is delayed, it is because it is being perfected. You are not waiting for something small. You are waiting for something aligned with your highest calling. The waiting is preparing you to appreciate the blessing, to recognize its value, and to sustain it once it arrives. The delay is strengthening your faith so that nothing can shake you when destiny manifests. What seems stuck is actually moving. What feels slow is secretly accelerating. What appears like a setback is setting the foundation for a greater comeback. Hold on to your vision. Stay grounded in your belief. Keep walking with expectation. Fulfillment is not just coming, it is being arranged to meet you at the exact moment you are ready to receive it. Your imagination is a spiritual blueprint. Picture the result as already yours. Everything you desire must first be built in the unseen realm of thought and belief before it can materialize in the physical world. Your imagination is not a place of fantasy, it is the workshop of creation. The images you hold in your mind shape your destiny. The feelings you associate with those images bring them to life. When you dare to imagine yourself victorious, healed, successful, and fulfilled, you are drafting the very blueprint that reality must follow. Most people wait to see change before they believe it, but true power comes from believing first. The mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is lived. Whatever you consistently picture and feel becomes imprinted on your subconscious. And the subconscious is the engine that drives your actions, your habits, your energy, your attraction, and your outcomes. When you imagine the end result is already achieved, you align every part of your being with that destiny. Your imagination is your direct line to the divine. Every inspired thought is a signal from a higher dimension urging you forward. Vision is a preview of what is possible. It is a sneak peek into the future prepared for you. If you can see it in your mind and believe it in your spirit, you can hold it in your hands. The moment you picture the fulfillment of your desire and feel gratitude as if it already exists, you activate a spiritual law. The inner reality must become the outer reality. There is tremendous creative power hidden in the simple act of imagining. When you visualize your dream home, your thriving career, your restored health, your loving relationships. You begin creating the emotional experience of already having them. And that emotional frequency attracts people, situations, and opportunities that match its vibration. You begin to notice doors that were always there but previously invisible. You start moving differently, speaking differently, showing up differently, because your mind has already accepted the success as truth. Do not allow doubt or fear to hijack your imagination. Those negative images also create limitation. If you imagine failure, you invite failure. If you imagine loss, you prepare the world to confirm that expectation. Protect the sacred power of your inner vision. Replace every thought of what if it doesn't happen with what if everything goes right. Train your imagination to hold the picture of the outcome you want, not the circumstances you fear. Make your vision so clear, so alive, so emotionally real that the world must rise to meet it. Return to that image daily, especially when reality contradicts it. Your imagination is the container for your future. It is where the dream lives before it becomes flesh. Never underestimate the creative force within your thoughts. You are not dreaming for no reason. That desire exists because a version of you already lives that experience. Your imagination is simply introducing you to the future you are meant to step into. So hold the picture. Feel the fulfillment. Walk as if the promise has already been delivered. Your blueprint is ready and reality is building exactly what you dare to imagine. Closed doors are not rejection, they are protection and redirection toward destiny. When something you wanted doesn't work out, when an opportunity slips away, or when a path you believed was right suddenly closes, it can feel like the universe is against you. But often, the doors that shut are doing you a favor. They are preventing you from entering spaces that are not aligned with your purpose or prepared for your greatness. What looks like loss is sometimes divine shielding. There are roads that might seem perfect in the moment, but if you walk down them, they would eventually limit you, drain you, or delay your real breakthrough. Some environments are too small for the version of you that is becoming. Some relationships cannot carry the weight of your calling. Some opportunities would have given you comfort but stolen your growth. So the door closes because your destiny is too significant to settle for what is convenient. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It is a redirection toward your higher path. You are being guided away from distractions, detours, and dead ends. You are being steered toward divine appointments that are bigger and better than what you initially expected. The job you didn't get, the person who walked away, the plan that failed, each one is a step closer to the life that is meant to manifest for you. Every no is clearing space for a more powerful yes. Closed doors build resilience and clarity. They help you discover who you truly are by pushing you to reflect, adapt, and evolve. They teach you what belongs in your life and what doesn't. Every time you face a rejection, you are also being given a revelation. You are not supposed to stay where you are. You are meant to rise higher. The discomfort you feel is an invitation to grow. You may feel like something has been taken from you, but what if something better is being prepared? What if the delay is positioning you in front of the right people at the right time in the right place? A closed door can save you from heartbreak, from wasted years, from experiences that would have dimmed your light. You might not see the protection now, but one day you will look back and be thankful that certain prayers were not answered the way you imagined. There is a purpose to every pause. There is meaning behind every ending. Life is not breaking you, it is building you. When a chapter finishes, it is because a greater one is ready to begin. Trust that the universe is removing what is not meant for your destiny and making room for the blessings designed specifically for you. Instead of asking, "Why did this door close?" begin saying, "Thank you for guiding me to something better." Stand with faith, not frustration. Speak hope, not doubt. Honor the transition, because movement is happening even when you cannot see it. A closed door is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a new direction. What seems like rejection is simply protection. And where you are being redirected is exactly where your destiny has been waiting for you all along. Your current challenges are signals of breakthrough. The shift is already in motion. The very pressure you are experiencing is proof that something powerful is changing within and around you. When life intensifies, when obstacles multiply, when uncertainty rises, it is not a sign that things are falling apart. It is a sign that transformation is taking place. Breakthrough always shows up wearing the disguise of difficulty. The resistance you feel is the indicator that you are pushing against an old reality that can no longer contain who you are becoming. Think about any great change in nature. The seed must break apart for the plant to emerge. The caterpillar must endure the cocoon before it becomes the butterfly. Pressure precedes expansion. Darkness precedes dawn. When everything around you feels chaotic or uncomfortable, it is because the old structures are collapsing so the new can rise. You are outgrowing spaces that once fit you. Your soul is calling you forward. Challenges are not meant to stop you. They are meant to strengthen you. Every obstacle is preparing you with the character, wisdom, and resilience required for your next level. You are learning persistence, patience, courage, qualities that only reveal themselves through experience. If your journey were too easy, you would never discover the power you carry. If nothing tested you, nothing would change in you. The struggle is shaping you into the person who can hold the blessing you've been praying for. Right now, it may feel like everything is being delayed or denied, but look deeper. Subtle shifts are happening. Doors you wouldn't have noticed before are beginning to appear. New ideas, new people, new directions are aligning. The discomfort is showing you that the chapter you're in is ending and the next chapter is ready to begin. The shift is not coming someday. It is already unfolding with every step you take, with every thought you transform, with every moment you choose faith over fear. What if the challenge you're facing is the very key that unlocks your blessing? What if the pain is the pathway to purpose? You were not created to be defeated by the problems in your life. You were created to rise through them. Challenges are a sign that your story is advancing, not ending. They are evidence that you are close to something greater than what you have known. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this preparing me for?" Instead of shrinking in fear, stand in the truth that progress is happening even when progress isn't visible. You are not stuck, you are transitioning. You are not losing, you are leveling up. The very force pushing against you is the force pushing you forward. Breakthrough is not a fantasy, it is forming right now. Hold on to your faith. Keep moving. Keep believing. The shift has already begun, and the challenges you are facing today will soon become the testimony that inspires others tomorrow. What is ahead is worth everything you are pushing through. Breakthrough is not far away. It is already in motion. Hold the end result in your heart. Your faith is the force that completes the miracle. The moment you receive a desire deeply within your spirit, the miracle begins. It doesn't start when the evidence appears or when the world finally agrees with you. It begins the second you accept the outcome as already yours. Faith is not a passive hope. It is an active knowing. It is the bold decision to live from the result instead of waiting for the result. When your heart fully embraces the fulfillment, reality has no option but to rise and match your conviction. So many dreams go unfulfilled because people keep waiting for permission to believe. They wait for signs, for guarantees, for validation. But faith does not ask for proof. Faith is the proof. It is the inward certainty that turns the invisible into the inevitable. When you hold the end result in your heart with unwavering trust, you align your thoughts, your energy, and your actions with that destiny. You begin behaving like someone who has already won. You speak differently, you walk differently, you expect differently, and those expectations create the pathway for the miracle to manifest. Doubt is the only thing that can interrupt what has already been set in motion. If you release the belief, you slow the blessing. But if you remain rooted in the end, if you choose belief over every negative story your mind tries to tell you, the promise you hold will take shape. The delay does not weaken the miracle. Your disbelief does. Stay faithful when nothing looks like it's changing. Stand firm in your vision when everything seems to contradict it. Victory starts within and then moves outward. Faith is the spiritual law that governs manifestation. What you feel as real must eventually become real. Your imagination is the first stage of creation, and faith is what completes the work. You do not chase the miracle, you embody it. You live in the emotional state of already done. Gratitude becomes your language, joy becomes your posture, and confidence becomes your atmosphere. When you hold that state, circumstances shift, people align, opportunities appear, and the blessing is drawn directly to you. This is why you cannot give up in the middle. The silent months matter. The unseen progress matters. Every day you choose to believe, even without results, you are strengthening the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Your consistency in faith is building the future you've prayed for. Every moment of trust is a brick placed in the structure of your destiny. You do not need to see how the miracle will happen. You only need to see the miracle as already complete in your heart. Do not allow your senses to decide your future. Allow your spirit to lead it. Hold the end result so tightly in your inner world that nothing in the outer world can shake it. Faith is not waiting to receive. Faith is knowing you already have it. The moment you refuse to let go of the vision is the moment the miracle becomes unstoppable. Your faith is the finishing touch. It is the force that calls the promise into form. And as long as you keep believing, the miracle must be completed. The journey to your victory is already unfolding. even in the moments that feel unclear or difficult. Every shift, every delay, every challenge is working for your good. You are not walking alone. A higher power is guiding your path, arranging the right people, preparing the right opportunities, and shaping you into the person who can fully receive what is coming. Your faith is the key that unlocks the future designed for you. Hold the vision, live from the end, trust the unseen. Because everything you desire has already begun its journey toward you. Victory is not a distant dream. It is a reality forming right now. What is meant for you cannot be taken, delayed forever, or destroyed. You are being prepared for a life that reflects your inner belief, a life of purpose, abundance, peace, and fulfillment. Stand boldly in that truth. Celebrate the promise before it shows up. Because when you choose faith over fear, the miracle must find you. Thank you for listening. Stay encouraged, stay expectant, and never lose faith. Your victory is already on the way.